Welcome to the golden age of self-expression. The golden age of self-expression is a celebration. Whether we speak, whether we sing, whether we scribble our ideas on a piece of paper, whether we dance, draw, or doodle, there's a platform out there where you can spread your ideas far and wide. And the best part is, you don't have to ask anybody for permission. Now, our guest tonight is a really good friend of mine, Dave May. Dave May has been a friend of mine since high school. He's now a golfing buddy of mine, and Dave expresses himself through music. Dave, welcome to the golden age of self-expression.
Good to be here, Steve.
Good to see you. So the first thing I'd like to ask you is the basic question. What does self-expression mean to you?
Well, self-expression means you get an idea in your head and then you work at expressing it. And sometimes it starts off as a dribble and ends up as a huge thing. So that's kind of how it is as far as putting songs together or coming up with an idea. It's all sometimes I've got lots of songs that sit in the briefcase that have started off as great self-expressions, but then they kind of end up I go back to them once in a while, but a lot of times, the big ones come out, they just keep going. It's like a wave.
It's like a wave, but yeah. There's probably, I like the way you said it starts out with a dribble.
It does.
And there's probably a lot that are like that, but then you need all of those to get the one that really hits. Is that right?
Right. And sometimes sometimes ideas come and they flow right out and you put them down and they just work. And sometimes it starts with a little thought and then all of a sudden, the universe starts sending you stuff. Mm-hmm. It's really cool. It's really
the more neat. You ask for the more you ask for it, the more you get it, right?
Huh?
The more you ask for it, the more you get it.
Exactly. The more you dial in and focus, the more comes to you. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of the way it is.
Right. So your passion is music. What originally inspired you when you were real young to get into music?
Well, my grandmother bought us ukuleles when I was 6, and my brother got a guitar. He was 10, and so we just started tinkering with our instruments. And then when I was about 13 years old, I started hanging out with Dan Chauncey from Alameda, and we played. We had the very first paying gig. We made $20 at the Pizza Factory, 4 of us to play one night. Me, Dan, and Rome Rossi, and there's one other gentleman, Bill. I can't escapes me what his last name was though. But we did a 4-piece at the Pizza Factory.
And you said you were 13 years old?
Yeah, they're 14. Yeah, they had to sneak us into the cloak of darkness. We had to stay 25 feet from the bar.
Did you know how special Alameda was when it came to music, and particularly Alameda High when you were growing up?
Oh yeah. There was the rivalry with Danny and Brad, the guitar players. There was Stu Blank. I went a little bit of a different route. I did a solo act in San Francisco. I played at Tar and Feathers in San Francisco, and I played Fisherman's Wharf for a number of years. I also played in college too. Played music up in college. So I was doing a solo act, back then. And there was a lot of guys that and I used to go and watch all the bands, and then of course I played with some bands too, and would sit in and stuff.
Yeah. You talked about Danny Chauncey, and you talked about the rivalry with him and Brad Gillis, and Brad Gillis is Night Ranger, and Danny is 38 Special. So they ended up by being big time, didn't they?
Yeah. And Brad, 38 Special wanted Brad, and they were on tour with 38 Special. Yeah, they were on tour with him. I don't have the story exactly, but from what Danny said, that they wanted Brad, and then they ended up. Brad said, try Danny or Danny Chauncey, and so did Pat Thrall, I think, suggested him. And the funny part about it, between you and me, and this between Danny and I, is that when he got the job with 38 Special, I said, "How'd you get the job?" He says, He said, they took me in a room. They said, you're a great guitar player. You know, there's a lot of great guitar players. They said, do you play golf? And he said, yes. They said, you're hired. Because they wanted a fourth. They didn't want a threesome out there and having people join them when they're on the road, and then they got all these questions. So that was Danny was their fourth in the golf thing. Now,
That works.
he may correct me a little bit, but I think that's how the story goes.
That works. So golf matters.
What's that?
Golf matters.
Golf
matters.
Golf is life.
Golf is life. All right. So
golf is
okay.
A lot of songs are written on the 18th tee.
There's one golfing song that has to do with golf.
Yeah.
And has to do with a bear. And I wanted to talk about that tonight because you played it for us a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Can you talk about that Country Club Bear?
Okay. Well, let me just I'll give you the background on it first. This is one of those dribble things, So last summer, I was in about June or May. The country club was all up in arms because of the Dixie Fire. Animals, including bears, were being relocated. And where did they relocate? Into the country club, right? Mm-hmm. So we have a newsletter, and every month I read the newsletter, and every month it said, "Oh, that damn bear! He's swimming in the lake now, and he's walking down the road, and he's knocking over our garbage cans." So I thought it was pretty funny. So on August 2nd, I started writing this song called, from the bear's point of view, mm-hmm. Just like this is how I feel about it. He's a happy-go-lucky guy. He thinks everybody loves him. He just gets into trash and everything else. So, and then on August 3rd, I go out to my garbage can. The bear has come and spread garbage all over the front of my house out in Lake Almanor. So I figured it must be an omen, or he really didn't want me to write a song about him. So. And so anyway, that's how it dribbled. It started dribbling out. I talked to my sound man up there, and I'll let you know about that in a little bit with the concerts I do. But he actually is the engineer at a major recording studio in Reno. So him and his girlfriend Christi is been hired to the master's program at the University of Michigan to lead the University of Michigan marching band, do the music for them. So she plays violin on the Country Club Bear. So anyway, the three of us got together, and I wrote the song, and three times to the studio, it kept dribbling, it kept getting better, we kept loud because it doesn't hurt anybody's feelings. It's just an old bear song, kind of fun, and so it went all the way to the end, and we now last week it's now streaming on all streaming platforms. You can get on iTunes and YouTube Music. I don't go on those too much, but those are the two I remember. So it's out there now.
All right. Well, I found it on YouTube today.
Oh, you did?
So I will put the link in the show notes so people can listen to it. It's really a cute song. I had fun with it.
Now, here's the thing. That red golf cart.
Yeah.
In the picture, that's my cart up there at Lake Almanor.
It's got your name on it.
Yeah, well, it's my golf cart. Up there, I just sent it in for service so they could I want to put a bear on the front of it.
All right.
So anyway, yeah.
I like that.
So that's how it came to be. And then the interesting thing about the song was I went down to perform at the end of August. It'd be about 3 weeks after I wrote it initially. So I'd kind of debuted it, a little acoustic thing, and people loved it. But it only had 3 verses. So I got off the stage and the security guard standing there, he says, "Hey, you better write another verse of that song because that bear you've been writing about, it's a whole family." So that's where the 4th verse comes in. It says, met my bear Philly had country club cubs. Now we call this place the Hub. So that came from the security guard at Lake Almanor. But the other verses, the 3rd verse comes from Lake Tahoe, because I was reading all the news feeds from Tahoe that, they're knocking over our garbage cans, but now they're going in our back door, So the 3rd verse talks about, "I'll try your back door when you're not there. Don't rhyme, don't care. I'm a country club bear." See? So that says that's how songs develop sometimes. They develop over time.
And then once in a while you'll hear something from a security guard or somebody else, and that's a good idea.
Exactly. If I'm in the middle if I haven't put the final master on the song, the Christi, the violinist that works for the University of Michigan, she said, simple things like met my bear Philly had Country Club Cubs. She said, call them Country Club Cubs. Okay. So she put that little ditty in there. So, that's how it kind of develops. Little suggestions and things.
Yeah, that's
It's
good
been
stuff.
just a lot of fun to do it.
If you make it fun, it's fun. So that's
And
good.
and just to segue, the concerts I do 12 concerts in the summer, one every weekend through Labor Day, starting next 2 weeks from yesterday, first
Okay.
concert. I've been approved to play Country Club Bear during the right before the raffle, because at the intermission we have a raffle. So Country Club Bear will be played right before the raffle, and I have the line dancers up there doing line dancing, and then people can do their little bear walk if they want. But it'll be played at every concert this year.
So that's at Lake Asilomar?
Lake Almanor.
Lake Almanor.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
going to
up
say
by
that again.
Chester, California.
Yeah.
Mount Lassen, right below Mount Lassen.
All right. So that's good. Well, that's a lot of fun for you. Now, you play the concerts. And you've got the audience out there. What does it do to you? How do you feel when you see the smiles, the joy, and the enjoyment from the people in the audience?
Oh, I play off it, because as a solo artist in San Francisco, sometimes in San Francisco, I have to stand up there for 3 or 4 hours with no breaks, and I might break 2 strings, but I got to keep going. So I play off with what the audience is giving me. They give me birthdays, they give me anniversaries. I might have them come up. See, I do the MC. I start the show, introduce the feature band, and so I get to be Bill Graham for 12 weeks. It's kind of fun on a small scale. You get to be
Bill Graham for 12 weeks. Now that's
on a small scale.
On a small scale, but those are large shoes.
Yes, but I go out in front of the crowds are between 1 and 6,000 each week. So off days, it might be 1,000, 2,000 people, but then holidays there's 5,000 or 6,000.
So you can play in front of 6,000 people then.
Yeah, and I sometimes
That's
I do a little
good.
fill in, or I'll I kind of keep the show going, and as I'm the MC of the show too.
Yeah. All right. So you'll be performing through the summer, and what else do you have going? What's next for you after the summer?
Well, I don't perform typically. I might perform during the concerts. I might do a song here or there, but mostly it's a band that we've hired to play. But I also play at the country club. I have a couple of shows I do out on the patio, and it's well received. I do one before 4th of July and one before Labor Day.
Okay. And you've had a violinist, and who else do you have to play with you?
Well, when I play, I have a on the record, the Country Club Bear is my sound man and his girlfriend, the violinist, University of Michigan. We did this project, but when I play at Almanor, my wife plays the flute, and I have a buddy that he's got a band down in Palm Springs called the Shadows, and he's up in Almanor in the summer. He plays drums. So I have a drummer and my wife playing the flute, and we do a little 3-piece.
And what's his name on the drums?
Matt Felix.
And the violinist name?
Christi Blahnik.
All right, that's good. So it just sounds like you have a lot of fun. It sounds like you have a lot of fun. So that's a great thing. Yeah,
it is. Right. I do. I bet I don't know. I did the theater, right? Alameda Theater for 12 years.
You had mentioned that, right? We have the Altarena Theater in Alameda. Can you talk a little bit about that?
The historic. I would do Alameda's Got Talent. I was the host of the show before the movie. We do a 20-minute vaudeville show from the historic stage. And then COVID came, and they and that got nixed when COVID hit.
Yeah. How did that affect you as a whole, going through those 2.5, 3 years with COVID?
Total disruption. Had to really fall back on my faith, because I lost my sister-in-law. We couldn't play at the theater because most of my performances are in your face. Like, I'll go out in the audience and get right up there. I couldn't do that during COVID. So, and then the business, it was it's still, we're still regrouping from business, from the lack of being able to do in-person classes and things like that.
Right, right. Now, your business, besides music, you have a business, Lifesavers, CPR, and first aid. Would you like to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, we're all through California mostly, and into Nevada. We travel and teach. We currently we inspect all the defibrillators at the University of California. We're soon to inspect all the defibrillators, or at least be part of the Stanford program. And we do several of the major school districts in the Greater Bay Area as well. We do their defibrillator inspections, and then we do classes. I've been teaching at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory for 22 years now, 23 years.
So you mostly do group classes at corporations or organizations?
And anybody that comes and needs to be certified, we're here. We have an office here in Alameda. We have a classroom here. I'm in the classroom right now.
Oh, okay. So, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So tell everybody about the Country Club Bear if you want to. My wife says it's an earworm. So once you start listening to it, you just start dancing around to it, because it's kind of a cute little ditty,
Okay. So I've never heard you said deerworm?
Earworm. Like when people, you listen to a song and then you keep hearing it, and you're in the shower, and all of a sudden you're singing it. That's an earworm. Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, but I've never heard it called an earworm. I like that.
Yeah, earworm. Yeah. That's right. I don't know who coined that phrase, but it was a friend of mine.
It's in my dictionary now, so I'm going to use that.
Earworm. Yeah. Yeah. It's when a song is so catchy, you just keep, wanting to hear it or play it or dance to it or whatever. Yeah. Earworm. Right. I got criticized. I gave the song to a lady. She says, "Damn you put an earworm in my head." Keep listening to it, which is nice. And let me just say one more thing.
Oh, sure.
The reason I did the song, I went to the full recording, was right before I went to recording. My granddaughter came over and we were singing, and I was teaching her the chorus. And she says, "I want to sing the chorus, Grandpa." So she sang the chorus. And I said, "You wrote that song?" She says, "No." I said, "Grandpa wrote that song." She says, "Oh, I love that song." So if a 6-year-old loves my song, it's like kid approved, let's go. It's okay.
When the 6-year-old granddaughter loves that song,
my 6-year-old granddaughter loves
that's a payoff, right?
That's it, man.
Yeah.
That's worth all the money for the recording studio and whatever this thing goes to. It doesn't matter, because she likes it and she likes to sing it.
That goes right to the heart.
It does. This is this is the coolest thing. I mean, I've had other songs. This is the first single I've released in 34 years. I released one in 1989 called Alligator Talk that I wrote with Paul Wood that did pretty good. Except we never got to follow through with it. We were too young and too stupid back then, So
it's amazing the things that happen when we're young, when we're in our 20s. That if we only knew then what we know now.
If we only knew. Yeah.
But that's how we got to know what we know now.
Right. And that's why I wanted to make sure you knew how that my granddaughter was the one that really was the engine, one of the driving engines of that song.
When your granddaughter's a fan, that keeps you going.
It does. Yeah. It's really cool. Yeah, so I promised her that when we do it live in front of a large audience, that she gets to come and sing the chorus.
All right. She's going to get a kick out of that.
I think she will. Yeah. So will the audience.
So will the audience. All right.
Because that's what it's about. It's about the audience. Right. It's always the audience.
All right. Now, what's her name?
Brooklyn.
Like
the Brooklyn Bridge.
Like the Brooklyn Bridge. All right. Well, shout out to Brooklyn.
And she plays rugby, and she plays baseball, and she'll probably be a middle linebacker someday, because she's built. At 6 years old. No, she's 7 now. If she hears this, she'll say, "Grandpa, I'm 7." She's 7 now.
I'm 7.
Yeah. But she was 6 when we did the song. So,
all right. Well, we're going to keep an eye on Brooklyn.
I got to keep my eye on Brooklyn. And my grandson Brandon's up there doing good too. He's Brooklyn's big brother. So
now, does he like the music, or does he get into it?
He's a football, baseball. He's going to be 6'5". He's probably going to be a big offensive tackle or something. He's really loves sports. So We'll keep him in sports. Let's keep him out of the music business. It's a little sketchy, you know. I can tell you. That's another podcast. That's another podcast.
All right. The golden age of sketchiness and music.
Oh, you know. I mean, I don't know if you know, but I mean, the years of the Crown Anchor, hanging out with all these bands and stuff. I'm just glad I'm still here, able to talk to you. You know,
Wow.
Some didn't make it. You know,
yeah.
It's tough.
Well, that's the sad part. There's been some geniuses we've lost over the years.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, let me tell you one more thing about Country Club Bear. Okay. One more thing. You can edit it if you want. I know this is edited.
I don't have to edit. This is great.
Okay. So anyway, I want to tell you one thing. On the third verse, after the third chorus, I say, "I am a Country Club Bear." There's a little more of an emphasis, like "I am." So the reason I put that in there was because of an old buddy of mine named Stu Blank. See, years ago, Stu came and played with me in the Marlboro Talent Roundup. We were trying to qualify to play with Hank Williams Jr. at the Coliseum. And so we were there at the finals, you know, the competition, and the reporter comes up and says, are you related to the real Stu Blank? He says, "I am Stu Blank." That's how he said it. So in the song, I put his vocal inflection in the bear's voice. "I am a Country Club Bear." And that was from Stu Blank, because he said that at the Marlboro Talent Roundup. I remembered that because the reporter didn't know who he was. He goes, "I am Stu Blank," you know, because he was playing with Charlie Musselwhite at the time, you know, touring and stuff. So because he had some.
That's just one more person that has their hand in Country Club Bear.
There it is. Yeah. I am a Country Club. I am. That's it. That's the vocal inflection. It's fun. The other verses aren't so much like that. With that one, you can hear that little "I am a Country Club Bear."
Okay.
Now you can listen.
We'll listen to it. Like I said, I'm going to put it in the show notes.
All right. Well, I hope people that hear it like it, and that's what it's for, total enjoyment. And you know, in this crazy world, the way it is today, I just wanted to do something. It just felt so natural and without any sort of pushback. You know, it's just a cute song that everybody can enjoy. You know, that's it.
Well, I hear the joy in your voice. I hear the passion in your voice.
And
keep doing what you're doing, because it brings a lot of happiness to a lot of people.
Well, yeah, I plan on. In fact, I didn't tell you about Country Club Bear. I got to tell you some more though. I do have plans for a video, and I have plans for a animated short film. And I talked to Christi. If this thing does take off and we make enough money to support it, we're talking about, because she's so good in music, we're talking about a Broadway play.
Wow!
Because we could write the music and do a whole Broadway play called The Country Club Bear. That's kind of the way out there goal, you know. But we need to get a few ducats in the can before we can start working on that. That would be what I would future. I'm into the Bear for the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just the beginning of the Bear. The song is the very first step of the Bear.
The first step. Well,
step one.
It's all about the stretch goals. And there's that old saying, you shoot for the stars and you're going to at least hit the moon.
That's right.
So,
and you know, it doesn't matter because there's a 7-year-old in Chico that loves my song. So it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's all house.
I already won.
Yeah. But when it gets on Broadway, she's going to say, "That's my grandpa."
Yes.
Yeah. So that's pretty.
Well, let's
cool.
that would be a good one for a prayer. We'll pray for that and see what happens. But we'll leave it in the hands of somebody that has a lot more power than us.
Well, yeah, a lot more power than us. But like I said, shoot for the stars, you're going to hit the moon.
Yes, we are. And I really enjoy being on the commuters too. That's one of the biggest fun parts of my year, is I get to come hang out with you guys. And thank you.
Right. Well, yeah, I was saying at the beginning of the show, Dave's one of my golfing buddies, and we're on what's called the Commuters Committee.
Right.
And we run this massive golf tournament every April that has some of the best golfers in Northern California. Young guys, seniors, really old seniors, and women.
Ladies.
That just come out here to the Almanor Chuck Carica Golf Course, Carica Park, and they play some great golf. And Dave and I get to watch it, officiate it, help run it. And it's a great time for all of us. So
It
I
is.
appreciate seeing you every year.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm
Yeah.
glad I made it into that circle. It was fun.
Yeah. Well, it's a fun circle. And
Yeah.
Dave, you're a big contributor.
Thank you. Thank you. You are too.
And
as
and
well,
you
Steve.
and you entertained us when the tournament was over. That's how I found out about
Oh,
Country Club Bear.
yeah. Yeah. The Double Bogey Blues. Look out. It's coming next
You
year.
want to sing
Too.
a couple tunes of that?
Okay. It's early Sunday morning. The sun is coming up. I'm on the tee at 7. Here to try my luck. They say this game's a tough one. I'll give it my best shot. The bunkers look like peaches and the greens are as hard as a parking lot. Oh Lord, what am I gonna do? Help me keep my head down, save me from those double bogey blues. First I pull out my driver and I check my stance and grip. I'm trying to remember every single Nicklaus tip. Straighten that left elbow, slightly bend your knees. Keep your head behind the ball. Look out for those trees. Oh, Lord, what am I gonna do? I'm stuck out in the forest. Save me from those double bogey blues. And like that. You want the whole song?
Fantastic.
There's 2 more verses. But the thing, like I told the guys, when we go to the outing, we can just keep doing verses and they can make up shit about the guys they played with that day and stuff. It'll be fun.
And we do that.
Yeah, I'll have a microphone. They can get up and say, Blanchard, tripped on of that. Mark Merrigan's out there doing that. We can have fun with that song because it's one of those songs like Lighty Lighty Low.
He got more than double bogey.
Yeah. I love that golf course though. I love Greenhorn. I do.
Well, we played up there and we had a fantastic time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care what I shoot. It's tricky. But it's exciting. It's a fun course.
Yeah, it's a fun course. We had a good time and a lot of laughs and great food. All right.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Dave. You take it easy.
Hey, yeah, you too. I'll see you down the road.
Thank you, Dave May, for the great conversation, and thank all of you who listened tonight. Let's keep in touch. I enjoy spending time in the community. If you would like to hear more and continue the conversation about self-expression, I'm available to speak in person or virtually at your service club, youth group, religious organization, or your Toastmasters club. You can reach me by email. My email address is in the show notes. And you can also hit me up on Twitter. I love to hear what you're passionate about. My Twitter handle is @MarathonMax1. I would be grateful if you would like, share, comment, and subscribe so this message will go far and wide and we'll find that shining needle of common ground in that haystack of fear.